Okay, so welcome back. Right now we have Australia versus Austria, and this matchup is a crab versus crane matchup. So the players are still kind of setting up, but I think that we ran out of time a little bit last time while looking at deck lists. So I think I'll just bring up the deck lists, and we can have a bit of a chat. Uh, Chris, do you want to do like a bit of an introduction to yourself?
Yes, hi. I was on some of the ones last night. I'm a Lion player from Australia. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
So
And welcome to early or late night radio with Phil and Chris.
That's right. I find that all
Uh,
of the World Cup games are being played when I'm asleep, so it's nice to have a
yeah,
game or two when I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
yeah, definitely. Not streaming while you're 4 beers down at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's have a look at some decks. We are looking at let's look at Crane.
Crane
Um,
first. Yep.
yeah. So it's is that
It's a drilling deck.
Siegfried? Siegfried the Second is the
Yes.
name of the deck. Don't know if that means anything. The restricted card is Madras' Station, so that's kind of nice.
His province lineup is pretty standard. Upholding, Magistrate Station, Shameful
Hmm.
Display, Pilgrimage, and Smuggler's Cove. The only one is obviously Magistrate Station on the restricted list means that he doesn't have to worry about Crab's player doesn't have to worry about being rap battled.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you hit that early. You've got to. It might even be a bit of a relief going. I'm not going to have my hand ransacked. Um,
Yeah, that's right.
we were talking about earlier that the fact that he's actually got Karmic Balance in the deck as a bit of an interesting choice. Um,
Yeah, I think so. Why don't we talk through that just a little bit, right? So, off
yep.
the initially, my thought was you've spent four influence on karmic balance when you could have spent that on, I don't know, a couple like you couldn't play Muramoto's Fury, but maybe some more let goes or I don't know, a weapon or something. And it just didn't seem quite right. But then you look at the number of attachments that Crane is running, and
Mm.
they're obviously going to be buying bodies onto the table that are going to have a lot of value and they're going to stick around. And in order to trigger his jewels, he doesn't necessarily need like event cards and things like that. So in that sort of situation, maybe when you trigger karmic balance, you retain a lot more of the value from your conflict deck than your opponent does in certain situations.
I I think the it's got a few purposes. One, gets rid of an opponent who might be camping on 20 cards. Two, once he has his people set up, he may not be able to attach any more. And
Yeah.
we've already up. The game has started.
So much for
Yeah,
giving ourselves more time to talk about decks.
yeah.
Let's have a really quick ch check of
Aggressive crab.
the crab deck. Yeah. I've been very critical of the crab deck in the past, so why don't you give me your thoughts?
I mean, he's running Butcher of the Fallen, so I mean, immediately that was a good choice. He's
That's it.
on.
That's all you need. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. He mulligans for that, gets that first turn, and then goes and crushes some provinces. But seriously, I mean, he's on Scorpion Splash with backhandeds, calling in favors, mazes of illusions. Uh, I'm 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 a bit in two minds about Maze of Illusions. I think there's plenty to splash in from Unicorn that is good. That's a bit of a hit and miss card.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I mean, is he aiming for dishonor or just honor pressure?
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, that's the thing, right? I feel like the crab deck has less of a focus in terms of the tactics
Crab.
that it's going to use to win the game. I think it's clearly going for breaking your opponent's
Yeah,
provinces.
and he's actually got his restricted cards, the Imperial Palace. Um,
Right. Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, first turn started. The Crane got first and is opened with Brash Samurai and Doji Whisperer, each with a fate, and Crab has gone in with a Stoic Magistrate, just going to make great fun of both of those characters, and a Vanguard Warrior. neither of them with fate to start with. But
So is there a rally card in there somewhere?
I mean,
Oh,
the
or
Mountain
is it a
Dweller War.
seasonal war or something? How have we got this many face-up dynasty cards? Oh, Stronghold. Never mind. Never mind. I need to remember what Crab does.
Yes, I mean it is sideways and harder to read. So I guess
It's camouflaged.
that's it. Um,
So, okay, so I feel like Crab is straight out of the gate getting aggressive. He's probably looking to find and break Magus' Station right here. But with a favorable ground on the table, the covert from the skirmisher is going to basically be, you know, nullified if, you know, if the crane wants to. Maybe it'll
yeah,
depend on whether or not the Crab actually finds Magus' Station.
I mean there are. I mean he does have upholding authority there and shameful. So there are some things that he actually wants the crab to hit.
Okay, so Crab looking to open up with a fire ring, which is good because it's going to mean that Brash Samurai's ability is not going to honor him. It's not going to take him up to honored, which means that voice of honor is not going to be on or enabled. It's also going to take the Ring of Fire off the table for the purposes of, you know, for the
Yeah,
crane player to go and attack with it.
not a bad choice there.
Hmm.
I mean, he does have some answers. I mean, calling in favors is going to be good to snipe off, you know, dueling attachment, duels training, and then he's also got spreading the darkness as well, just for a straight up event shutdown. But I'm not sure how many of his events are likely to be targeting. Not really.
So, so Crab hits upholding authority, and I'm not necessarily unhappy with Crab hitting upholding authority, not because I
Oh,
think
oh,
upholding authority is bad, just because after having looked at the deck list from Crab, I'm not entirely sure how many good events there are going to be in his hand. Uh,
I
that
mean,
said,
he's got 33 events.
yeah, but like, well, I suppose it's not just cards, right? Oh no, it's not a chess clock. Oh, dude. You know, the funny thing was, I actually had a look at the game beforehand, and I saw a 40-minute clock timer. It didn't
Yeah,
even click to me that it wasn't a chess clock. Okay,
restart.
there we go. I'm just going to wait for the players to leave the game.
Yep. So yeah, getting back to the crab deck, 44 cards, 33 events, um, one compass.
Hmm.
Like that's a like you're at 44 cards and you think, I know, I'll put a compass in, just one.
I don't mind the compass. The compass is definitely not the card that bothers me the most in there.
I just it just seems like if you're after that ability, you think you want more, or you just wouldn't put it in there when you're at 44. That's all. I don't mind putting one ofs for ones that'll have a big game changing effect when if they come up and you don't really want to have more than one, or if it's a late game uh, thing like potentially karmic balance.
Hmm.
That was
So,
the reason why I was talking about when I, like I put together a crane dueling deck like this as well, and they've got so many cards they want to put in there. Um, Putting in some really high influence value cards doesn't necessarily hurt them if they're getting a specifically good ability that they're chasing, or something that can really put someone on tilt, I suppose.
hmm.
um,
Yeah, so
so
the things that bother me in this deck is like fruitful respite. Um, Waning hostilities, I don't particularly like. It says aggressive. It's called aggressive crab deck. You want more. You want more
yeah,
attacks,
I
or at least
mean,
that's. Yeah.
I mean, I've put together a crab berserker deck, and it's running waning hostilities and what's the lion one that all out assault?
Hmm.
Because berserkers, you're just going, well, I basically only want there to be one attack this turn, because you're going all in, uh, and
Hmm.
you, know, you might be able to. You can also use a few of the other random defensy cards for crab to be able to maybe stop them from breaking a province, but breaking two provinces in a turn, maybe not.
Are you back in the new game, by the way?
I will be in a second.
Okay. So the crab players just bought a Kaio Envoy, and the crane players just bought a two-coster, but there's a decent amount of fate bound up here. It just feels like this is begging for away the crab, and it's got
It's
away the crane on it.
he's got a
Although, actually, you know what? That honor token is going to make a Voice of Honor active. So
on. Yes,
that's a very interesting piece of crab, hey?
Gallant Quartermaster and Caillou Envoy.
A lot of good
So
cards on the crab side this turn.
yeah,
So I think Joseph was gambling a little bit, right? Because the way the crane came down in the dynasty phase,
yeah,
and between that, the Caillou Envoy could have actually been sacrificed for Array the Crane.
yep. But he was gambling that he wasn't going to let the do the way of the crab immediately.
Yep, paid
He was
off.
right.
Paid off. Took a risk. Paid off. So I don't think I know this guy's ability. Other characters can't leave play during the conflict phase except by the effects of keywords. Oh, this is the Crane anti-crab card.
The one you don't ever buy against Lion.
Hmm.
You wind up oh, all those spirit called forebears echoes characters, they can stay. It's all good.
Yeah. So Joseph is past his first conflict opportunity, putting the pressure on the crab player to make the first move, but the crab player is second player, so I feel like actually the pressure is on Joseph if he wants to get anything done this turn.
Yeah, except he's
Oh,
probably
there
going
you
to
go.
wait to see what. Oh,
Yeah, so Zaren's passed the conflict opportunity to put the pressure back onto Crane. So now
yeah,
Crane has to decide, are they going to get anything done this turn? Because this is kind of the last opportunity for them to do that.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
really, I don't really think
I,
they need to. I think taking four fade into the next turn is pretty good.
yeah, yeah. I usually with that crane style of deck, I'd usually aim for getting a big person, chucking him into play, throwing a lot of fate on them, and just defending up province and letting the other one go potentially. Um, if it's the right one,
Hmm.
then fine. You just go. That's great. You've managed to let me look at your hand, discard a card, um, or and then you just defend the one you want, and then you go into the next turn ready to either lay down another big body or start tooling up your first one, or both.
Mm. Could I just say as well that the crab deck doesn't have any cancel in it on the conflict side?
Yep.
So winning the favor here would really just deny the Crane the opportunity to
Yep.
um, to get it. And the Crane is only running Voice of Honor. It's not. It's a Seeker deck, right? Yeah, it's a Seeker deck, so it's not running Defend Your Honor. So it really doesn't matter who gets the favor here, really.
Not.
Not in a meaningful and card enabling kind of way. Uh, I feel like we're going to get some toasty crabs in a second. Crab are going to throw their own guys onto a funeral pyre, roast them up, draw some cards.
Well, with Quartermaster, um, yeah, like buying him turn one sort of with Caillou Envoy and not doing anything else means that he does basically go in to the following turn with, more cards, more fate,
Whoops.
cards, more fate,
Oh my god, what have I done?
cards, more fate,
Oh my god, what have I done?
cards, more fate.
Oh my god, what have
Both pass their conflicts.
I done?
Both
Hold on a
pass
sec,
their
guys. I need to
conflicts.
fix the stream. I've seriously cocked something up. I've seriously cocked something up. Okay, okay. I think I fixed it.
Excellent.
There we go.
So yeah, they're both past that conflicts. Um, Crab has the favor. Oh, he has. Yep. There we go. Oh, he didn't funeral pyre. That was weird. Or did he?
Yeah, that must have just been a mistake. Like,
Yeah, because
there's
that
no
that's
there's
that's
no reason not to
that's
right here.
that cost him 2 fate and a card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no reason not to. So I feel like that's just a mistake. Fate on every single ring on this turn. Crane opting not to discard anything out of their provinces. That's a bit odd as well.
Hmm.
Even if you don't like,
I mean, Cunning Negotiator's a big political person, especially honoured.
yeah, I think even if you don't like buying one of those characters, I don't think you get
And
rid
and
of.
he's probably
Yeah, anyway.
Asanima, or whatever her name is, might have some value in that. There's a bit of just like honor loss in the crab deck,
Yeah, it'll certainly stem the flow of Omelos for sure. You still
and
got to,
maybe put some pressure on crab if they're actually heading too low.
yeah. So
I don't
Joseph
know.
actually hit a Season of War
I
right
don't know.
there.
I don't know. That was we weren't quite there yet, so it has updated. He did pitch everything. Oh
What are you talking about? No, he
no,
hit
sorry, that was
Season of
Season
War.
of War.
Yeah,
Season of War button, yeah.
yeah. So Season of War got activated, which
Two
discarded
tea houses.
discarded an Iron Mine, but another Iron Mine has turned up in its place, and a Kaiju Envoy.
Oh no,
Mate,
sorry. It's a dojo and a tea house. So that's good.
the dojo is kind of good for turning off abilities on things like Vanguard Warrior. Actually, is it just for the conflicts? Until the end of the conflict, the Jules loser. Okay, so maybe not so much.
Well,
Probably,
it's more the bow, and he's got a duelist to use
yeah,
it with now.
and a stronghold activation, right?
Yeah.
Oh, with regard to the funeral pyre, chat's just pointed out that this dude right here actually prevents funeral pyre from activating.
But isn't he only during the conflict phase?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
that's
and
that's where
yes.
you wanted. Yeah, that's where you wanted the activation of funeral pyre anyway.
No, fair enough.
All right, so Joseph is bidding 4, just trying to pull away from any kind of danger zone with regards to honor. To be honest with you, I don't really feel like Joseph has that much to worry about. Although crab, like getting crab down in honor, often often can be kind of beneficial. Sometimes they can kind of paint themselves into a corner because they don't really have a way of generating honor
Yeah.
besides the Ring of
That's
Air.
why. That's why I thought he was sitting on the other girl, but she's now in the discard pile. So
Plenty more where she came from. At least two
well,
more in the deck, I'm
so
sure. I find Kaizen hilarious because I feel like his text box really just reads action, fiddle with your honor dials, and then honor this character. You know,
yeah.
because before this
I
stronghold, he wasn't really
yeah.
that great, was he?
No, but the other thing, he's actually fairly good against Swarm. Like he
Hmm.
rocks up and just goes, "No, we're not doing this now. Go away."
Okay, so we see Crane attack the Ring of Water against Cooney Wasteland, which I think is a good attack because it's going to force in some defense.
Yep.
This Kaio Envoy, I'm not sure why this Kaio Envoy isn't in the conflicts, because if you win this conflict, then the Kaio Envoy just can get bowed from the ring effects.
Maybe he just thinks that the one force isn't gonna make or break it, or
I think maybe maybe the crab player is planning on winning this conflict on the
that too.
defense. There is a in defense of Rokugan in the crab deck, I think, so we could see that. But I feel like that's just another reason why you would put the Kaio Envoy in. Cooney Wasteland stops triggered abilities, right? Your opponent cannot trigger character abilities, so can't trigger Kaizen. Guess that's it. That's the only thing that he can't do. Oh my god, you're right, Netsu. I keep forgetting about this guy. Netsu stops in defense of Rokugan as well.
Yeah.
It's probably important to mention that the crab is on Keeper of Air, right? So normally crab's on Keeper of Water. Um, are there any keepers in the bin? There are not. So if there were, winning water on defense would be good. But I guess in this case, neither here nor there. Okay, so Story Defeat hits Vanguard Warrior after Kikita Dojo um, is activated to duel those two characters. The Crane's still winning on the offense because attackers win ties, but the province is not going to break right. Is not breaking right now. Both players. Sorry, go on.
He's still 6 away from that, so
Yeah, the Crab player
I
has
mean,
got quite a few cards in his hand. 15 versus 10 for the Crane. If I was the Crane player, I think I'd be fairly happy just with a win at this point in time. You know, because then your Berserker and Vanguard Warrior would be bowed. The Crane's military conflict has already been activated. You bow the Kaio Envoy with the Ring of Water.
he's pretty he's
Hell,
pretty safe. He's pretty safe against Tea House at the moment.
yeah,
Oh, it's amazing.
and then you come back on political with Kaizen. But
Yeah.
we may see Netsu get bowed because of Maze of Illusion. Both players.
No, voice.
Oh, it got voiced? Okay. Does this open up Away of the Crab? I mean, if you play Way of the Crab now, you get rid of Netsu, right?
Well, does Netsu stop play?
Oh my god.
Cannot leave
Oh
play.
my god. It does. It so does. Oh, this is crazy. I love this guy. Can I have you in my Phoenix deck, please?
As a line player, I endorse everybody having like 5 to 10 copies of him in every deck.
Oh, that's great. All right, so it got cancelled, and Crane won 3 versus 3 on the offense. So Kai Envoy, as predicted, got bowed, and we're going to see a counterattack on military with the skirmisher. So I guess what you want here is to hit Magister Station if you're the Crane player, right?
Well, yeah, if you can stop it from being busted. It's just that you'd only be 2 away from actually breaking. I mean, yes, you get your Netsu straight now, but is he actually running like formal invitation or anything?
The Crane player is not. Oh, it is running formal invitation. So he
Yeah.
could
So
move in Kaizen if he wanted to. I don't know why the
yes.
crab player is being so indecisive about the province. I'm not sure. Pilgrimage, a sixth strength pilgrimage, no less.
Oh, he really, really wants to see Netsu go away.
My phone was going crazy. Apparently, there's a thunderstorm warning issued here.
Okay. Well,
All the more reason to
just
stay inside and play L5R. Okay, so Kaizen's been coverted. It's a military void against pilgrimage. I I don't really think you don't do anything as Crane, right, until the province is being the break is being threatened.
no, no. I wouldn't be throwing cards down that rabbit hole if I didn't have to. Um,
And
yeah,
formal
because I mean,
invitation is really the
Void's
only
going.
thing. Sorry, what?
Oh no, it's just with him actually hitting pilgrimage that just even the threat of Void's not on the table anymore.
Yeah. So he's going to void Netsu. Bye, Netsu. There's how many Netsus are there in the deck? Let's all look. There's two. So I guess next turn, the Crane player flushes their provinces, turns up another Netsu. No, that doesn't work because he's going to leave play. Suppose you could buy another one though.
Yeah, I mean that'd be just pretty garbage for the crab player.
I feel like the Crane player is overvaluing the honor plays. Like he bid four, right? It was a four bid at the start to try and draw out some more honor. Now he's going for a Ring of Air. If
But
if
he also needs to do this because the crab decks can get pretty big on the force, and if he's only pipping out crab by one, he wants to bid five, and the crab will probably just bid one.
Hey, I suppose that makes sense. So you think he's going so that he can overbid on a duel that's really important at some point?
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he knows that knows that the crab does have a bit of dishonor there. So if he, I've seen these decks run where they dip down sort of end of turn one, turn two from bidding because they just want to win,
Mm,
and that could be end of game if the wrong things happen from the crab's side
hmm
if he doesn't have enough buffer.
So he attacks Kuni Wasteland, so he can't trigger his ability, and now he's dumping.
He's already honoured. There's not really anyone straight here.
Wait, we missed something, right? So calling in favors pulled off a fan, so actually he needed this to get up to breaking strength again.
Yep.
That makes sense. And there was a formal invitation in there, so he could have moved into that military conflicts, or could he? No, it was political. Never mind.
And yeah, now he's got a new name. So
So he's no longer Kikita Kaizen.
yep, that's right. We'll call him K-Man, or the artist formerly known as
The
Kaizen.
artist, the artist formerly known as Kaizen. I like that. So Kikita Kaizen breaks Kitty Wasteland, which is just good, you know. That's part of the way towards winning the game.
Yeah, and getting rid of the outpost is also not bad.
He uses the air ring to gain two rather than to steal one. I
Yeah,
fear, yeah, I really like a steal right here, actually. Was that defended, that attack? I don't think it was it? No.
it wasn't.
So I would really have liked a steal on that attack. So do you weigh the crab now? No, because you've gone to the next turn. Fair enough. So Crab's second player. So Crane is able to get out somebody that could be Way of the Crab if they wanted it to. I feel like Crane's
Yep.
going to buy two people this turn. And as
He's got 10 honor and getting Kozunobu, he's great. Just shutting down reactions.
Hmm.
Importantly, not interrupts, so you can still voice of honor things.
Well, this is interesting. So Hide Kasada just got bought out of Kyuden Asada, marching out the front gates, as it were,
Ooh,
and
no fate, but I
Kyuden
mean,
Hide, Kyuden Hide rather than Kyuden Kasada,
yeah.
but no fate on him. Yeah. So he's got this
I mean,
Vanguard
he's got
warrior.
dynamite,
He does have the Iron Mine, and he had a Vanguard warrior, but he didn't like to buy it.
but he's not on rebuild. So if it actually gets in the discard pile somehow, uh, and he does have 3 reprieves as well, so there's chance that keeps him.
Yeah, good point. I missed the reprieves actually. I feel like they don't show up too much in crab decks these days, do they?
Uh, when you can cheat around it so many different ways, and again, most of
Mm.
them are on rebuild, so you can get your Iron Mines back, and then you've got the Vanguard Warrior.
Mm.
There's a there's an economy in your Dynasty deck. It gives you so many options. Instead of just having a reprieve that can just be a reprieve, you've got a rebuild that could be maybe a reprieve, maybe um, a lab, something else.
So Kozunobu is kind of nice, right? What's it going to turn off?
I mean, he might even just use uh, I mean, Kozunobu.
Defend your honor, I guess. That'd be a good one. But he
Yes,
knows
I
that the
mean,
crab's not playing it, right?
yeah. I mean, he might have just bought it because it was just the other big body. Uh,
Yeah. Shrug of despair. Shrug off despair. During a
I
conflict
mean,
in this province. Sorry, during a conflict at another province you control, moves the contested ring to this province. It is now the attacked province. Huh.
I mean, I like it if you can get the the Carpenter wall onto it.
What's that, the plus
Um,
four?
yes,
It's like a
and
get over here, but for
that's
provinces.
it. Like, yep. Now we've got 10.
Shrug of despair. It's like, I mean, that conflict was over really quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah, just
Defends
rock
with
up.
defends with Casada, plays Mountain. That's it. We're done.
Yep. Bye bye. Um,
So it's whose attack is it now? Must
so
be
it's crab.
must be the crab's attack, right? So you don't attack with Casada. Casada's now your Uber defender. Am I right?
Mountain does not fall on him. I mean, it's going to be a political, which is not going to make Casada the biggest boy in the world for defense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But if you,
This crab berserker is getting ready to go into a political conflict, right?
oh, there's his compass.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he knows
Cool.
the way. He's going to rock up. He's going to be cool with his fan,
Yeah.
with his whole 3 political, 2 political, 3 political. Yeah, it's rocking up there with his compass, his stolen fan.
He's just trying to decide which ring to get the fade off. Personally, I would get the fade off the Earth ring and start pegging my opponent's hand and drawing more cards into my own. Is he committed? Yes. So the crisis berserker has just raged into a political conflict.
He's confused. Someone's handed him he's picked up a fan from somewhere, so he's like, "No, I can go to court."
This feels really bad as the crab player, doesn't it? Because
Yep,
we should see
magistrate.
we should see Kaizen defend, and then maybe even Kozunobu, and then Magister Station can ready Kaizen to attack with.
Yep.
That said, as second player, like that Mountain Doesn't Fall gets huge amounts of value as second player because Kasada can just defend the
Yes.
next attack and
And then
then attack
score.
on military. And then this Kai Ornvoy gets thrown by the Stoic Gunso at the walls of uh, the crane. And I'm guessing that Magister Station gets
Magistrate Station.
broken.
Yep. Well, that's definitely what Crab want, or anyone wants. Magistrate Station gone,
Hmm.
and anarchy in the streets.
What are Crab's options here as far as political goes?
Oh, Watch Commander.
Oh,
He's got his one compass.
this is smart. Joseph using a Steam Tea House to sort of, you know, nullify Casada's ability.
Yep.
So watch commanders would give you plus ones,
Yep.
but I think you need to invest a bit more. So
I mean, he's got Skirmisher,
I don't
which is
really
no big
think,
at all.
yeah,
No,
I
sorry.
don't actually
Oh,
think there is.
so,
I don't.
so so he's got one.
Well, yeah, you could play it into the conflict, but all of those seem like super low value plays. I don't really
Uh,
see Crab having any pumps in this political conflict.
It might have just been a let's get the Earth Ring gone.
Well, the Crisis Berserker can sort of come back into the next military conflict.
Uh, yeah, if you're out militaried, and if um, it's going to be Casada there, it's not
It's true.
that likely.
That's true. This game just doesn't make any sense sometimes. Like this Stoic Gonzo can sacrifice the Kaio Envoy, right? Yeah, he's back at home using the Stoic Gunso just acting like a catapult.
Yeah.
All right, so Magister Station is going to get defended here. So there was no, he didn't straighten Kaizen. I don't know, I don't understand that actually. Maybe
Well, he
he's,
doesn't have to
but
do it
he's,
yet, just in
no,
case
it's
something.
true. But I guess the intention is there that Kaizen's going to be used on the
Oh,
defense.
yeah.
So, of course, Casada defense because there's no reason not to, because he's just not going to bow. The firing, he's probably just going for fate off the firing. I feel like Void is probably a better choice, a ring choice, but just going for fate.
I've done that a few times against Crab, only to find that as I said, that out comes a reprieve and the Iron Mine's still there, and okay,
Hmm.
now there's 3 fate on that ring. I could have had 2 of it.
Hmm.
Um,
You probably don't want your opponent to have that ring next turn, right? Because Crab's
mm,
going first next turn, and then it's got 3 fate on it if you don't attack it.
right.
So yeah, or if they don't attack it rather.
I mean, he's got a couple of political jewels and 1 storied defeat.
Yeah, yeah. This Casada might just bow as the result of a conflict card, and oh,
There's not much. There's not much.
Zarin pulls in the formal invitation of Kaizen. So Kaizen could have moved in, but is not an option anymore.
Now it's an informal invitation.
Does Kozunobu? I think he shuts off the proving ground.
Hmm.
Yep. So we're
Well,
at
we've got a political rival.
7 - 2 is 5, so we're still not at breaking strength.
I wonder why. I mean, maybe play that before you go in. Use the covert
Well,
to stop Casada from showing up at all?
It probably doesn't make any difference. If you don't play it before the conflict, it means that your opponent may behave differently. Whereas if you play
Yeah.
it before the conflict, then your opponent kind of knows. They've got more information than they would have otherwise. So I think you're probably right. We're probably still looking at somebody getting jeweled here and then bowed maybe. He does only need one strength, so maybe we see a fan or a new name.
I mean, there's that, or even if he just duels and fails and then honors Kazunobu.
So Josip has played Return the Offense, so that is going to prevent Kozunobu from bowing at the end of this. Excuse me, bowing at the end of this conflict.
Yep. And he's going to honor off it as well. So that's the has put him down to 0, but that's all you need. So it's 2 versus 4 in this. So this is where he needs to bid to win. Oh, they both went for 1s.
Hmm. So I guess storied defeat is the play.
Well, if
I
he's got it, I mean, he's got 1 of them in the deck.
oh, Joseph passes and does not break the shrug off despair. I don't know about that, right? Like, surely he had +1 political in here somewhere, right? Well, storied
But
defeat's actually been used.
oh, has it? Okay. Or maybe got discarded by something.
Yeah, wow, that's very interesting. Wonder if, yeah, I find it very difficult to believe. Maybe chat has some ideas. Like 9 cards in hand, you gotta have +1 political.
Well, he was down to 0 fate at that point. Um,
Yes, yeah, maybe he really didn't. Hmm. All right, 12 military on the Crane side. That's a lot of military. It's a lot of red.
mm. Well, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, and turns out you're right. He gets to get the crisis breaker in there, and
Hmm.
that's still not going to get him to win.
Yeah, chat makes a good point, right? So you've got the covert. You could have coverted Casada. If you really didn't have any other pumps in your hand, I feel like that's what you do. But if you have any other pumps, I feel
I mean,
like
turns out he
yeah,
wanted to start or a body there to duel, so that he could go home straight. So it does make some sense. Just
I
you
guess.
can't, you can't, you can't. I mean,
The truth is, we don't actually know what's in their hands, so I would be
yeah,
very interested in asking the players afterwards. So we'll see.
and on top of that, there's the you know that if Casada defends, you've got to get over 8 to actually be able to break it. So
Hmm. All right, so Zeren plays a route and tries to flick home the artist formerly known as Kaizen, but the artist formerly known as Kaizen says no.
plays his favorite song, "Voice of Honor."
Is that a song? Is it? Is that what Voice of Honor is?
Must be.
Let's see.
Let me
Doesn't
look
it?
at.
It's, yep,
I
certainly
think it.
looks
I
like
think
someone singing.
yeah, hair metal.
Okay, so we're in a military conflict. So a fine katana goes on to Kikita Kaizen, bringing him up to 14. I don't know, is that necessary? I don't know if that's necessary. Certainly you want to defend the magistrate station.
Yeah, if he's got some, if he's got something to.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
Stoic Gonzo just threw the KO envoy against the magistrate station.
That's interesting. I would have brought the. I think I would have brought the crisis
The,
breaker in,
the
but again, it's
Berserker in.
still yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, he's at 12 versus 18. That'll get him to 14. So he's still a mile away.
yeah,
Unless
still
he's
not
got
quite
something.
there, is it? Has Zarin played a? Zarin hasn't played any bonsais yet.
Yeah,
But you
because
know
this
that,
is probably because that's probably the reason. Like, sacrifice the guy who's going away anyway, get a fate and draw a card. Hopefully, it's a bonsai.
do you know what? Crane's only got 6 cards left in their hands, and I feel like Crab probably has enough to break this.
Yeah. No.
But
Chat's also saying, why not Crisis Breaker before the potential route? Um,
yeah,
I agree,
yeah,
but he might have something in his hand. Oh, he doesn't. He's not. He's not on any of the big. He's not on beat sticks.
good lord. I clearly don't understand this game anymore. Having Magister Station around for another turn is amazing, right?
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, perfect cut,
Yeah.
bonsai.
Well, so Crab's got 11 cards in their hand, right? So I wonder how many of those are fruitful respites and backhanded compliments and assassinations, none of which are really working
Yeah,
for you right now.
I'm just kind of looking through for like he's not got.
Okay. Okay. So Butcher the Fallen, an Immortal Casada, and
Yep,
a Gallant Quartermaster for Way of the Crab. We've
yep,
got Asami. We've got what's this guy do? Kageu, disguised courtier. There are
draw
some.
cards, draw
Yeah,
cards.
he, that political rival could be Kageu in disguise.
All this all this time. Yep, there's the Butcher of the Fallen. That's so harsh.
It just feels like people say that this is an unfair card, but if you think about it, the guy is literally butchering the fallen. He's like kicking them when they're down. He has no morals, no qualms about doing that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
he
it,
goes
he
he
is
goes
as
back
advertised.
he goes back to the meat market. Do you want some fallen steak? I got fallen steak.
Hmm.
I am the butcher of the fallen.
All right. So what do we got going on? Crane adding on Kakita Kaizens and Hidekasadas adding on Hidekasadas.
Yep, because that's what you do. And there's your
Crane clearly are just as good at keeping their dudes around as Crab are, right?
just by sheer force of
Yeah,
fate.
mountains of fate. Crane has still got 8 fate left in the bank. Clearly doesn't need it.
I think there's some sort of crane cheat though, because I don't,
Excuse
I
me.
don't know how they do it. They've always seemed to still do that and have fate left in the bank. You're going,
Mm.
did I blink?
Excuse me. I just need a drink of water.
That's okay.
Um, it's a one versus a 3 bid. I'm not sure I understand a 1 bid from Crane with 6 cards in hand.
But again, it might be that trying to get over the top without losing the game. Like you might feel that he's got all the attachments or cards he needs,
Yeah,
but he needs to be able to throw on a down.
I'd be interested to understand what the Crab player's virtual hand size is, as in like how much of their hand is useful versus useless.
Yep.
Because almost certainly all those cards in the Crane player's hand are going to be useful.
Yes.
So just playing a fine katana on Kikita Kaizen during the draw step, but otherwise not doing anything.
Hmm.
And a Kikita blade. He's second player, so is he anticipating a ring of Earth? You know what? I'll bet you he has misread Butcher of the Fallen. That's what I think it is. He thinks that Butcher of the
Yes.
Fallen, that any of this actually matters for Butcher of the Fallen. Is Butcher of the Fallen? What's it right now? So it's one, two, three. number of unbroken provinces. So it's actually four or less. So nobody, nobody can
That's right.
defend here. And he let go the compass. What do you let go? What do you let go the compass for?
There must be some secret tech I'm not familiar with this compass.
Does Josip think that he's first player? Well, actually, you know what? The political rival, he can get Kageu with the political rival, but he's just passed a bunch, leaving two cards in the Crane player's hand, and he's going to get attacked now, and nobody's going to be able to defend it. Is there a is there a move in? There's no move in.
No.
You can't move into a military conflict. This
Bye
magic
bye, mate.
station,
Okay.
I feel like, is just going to go splat.
Yep. I mean, the only thing the thing that's up on the Crane side is just the sheer number of bodies with fate on them. So hitting them with the void to get rid of the. Yeah, that's right. You don't need to send Casada.
Yeah. The good news is that Crane is not going to die this turn, right? They're gonna get hit. Uh,
Well, I think you really desperately need to take at least one province so that he can potentially defend.
so I think Crane needs to break two provinces this turn. The the thing, yeah, I think Crane needs to break two provinces this turn because then he's first player next turn, and he can make a strong push for the stronghold on
Yep.
political as the first player.
He's gonna
Whereas,
make, he's gonna make use of both of the coverts here. Yep.
hmm,
On the Crisis Breaker and Casada.
I feel like there's anything but desperate about this attack. This attack, there's no shrugging of despair here.
Yeah, and like if the quartermaster defends and he doesn't have a thing to try and get one more political, then
Yeah, that said, I would be going for Earth right now. Has he got keepers? Hang on. No, he's Seeker of Void. That doesn't make any sense. I,
he's taking.
the strategy seems to be to push down Crab's honor,
Oh no,
but he's already
he has
got
realized and pushed in Kazanobu as well,
realized
and
what?
it, oh that if he doesn't put in another body like and quartermaster just defends, then
Oh yeah, yeah, okay.
which he does because otherwise he's just going to get bowed. I mean, Crisis Break is going to now cop it, but I mean, with the military conflict coming up after this, he's just going to rock up anyway.
Hmm. You see, I think I really don't understand the airplay. Maybe there's a card that he has in his hand that requires the air ring or something, but Earth would have been better. Water would have been better, I think. Bow at the Crisis
So,
Breaker.
yep, he just breaks that. So break number one that he needed done.
Yep.
Turns off Casada as well. He steals an honor off the crab player.
The political rival was a Kageu in disguise.
Oh my goodness.
Throws off the robes, the political robes.
It's an interesting card, that one, because you like if you can get your opponent to play a bunch of cards and then throw them in, but then you lose the advantage of the straighten.
Hmm.
But again, even just throwing you in there with your opponent going, you know, politically, you have to play some cards against me. It's an uphill battle, usually against Crane. So
Hmm. So this conflict, so this ring choice is going to force. No, see this ring choice. I'm not sure that this ring choice makes sense either, because the Crisis Breaker and Casada are going to defend because it's the last conflict of the turn.
no, I mean yeah, crab are out, but no, they're both out.
So
Yeah.
why not just go Earth? I mean, if you went water last conflict, and then
Yeah, I'm generally not sure either. Then
yeah, if you went water
maybe just
last conflict and Earth this conflict, that would have been better, I think. Maybe chat knows. Do you guys know what's going on? I mean, clearly they've got a game plan and they're playing their game plan, right? So no, I'm not dissing anybody's choices. I just don't understand. So Zeren wins the conflict 9-5. Again, last conflict of the turn. Why not put in Kakita Kaizen or
I
Kageyu?
agree.
Why did you buy Kageyu if you weren't going to put him in the conflict anyway?
Plexing.
So now you need two conflicts on your next turn in order to break the stronghold. Speaking of stronghold, wonder what is on there. Stronghold. This one. Ooh, could be flooded waste.
Yep.
could be could be flooded waste. You know what? If it's flooded waste, then you're not going to break. Crane's not going to break next turn either, and then they're going to
Yep.
lose all their guys.
Such sadness.
Zeren plays mono and takes. Oh, so Zeren plays mono, and all the Crane guys are going to go away this turn. So another reason to have got more value out of your guys this turn.
Yep.
That's great. It's so funny. Both players have enormous amounts of fate to play with this turn. Uh, Crane buys back their Brash Samurai. Can't get rid of those things. If there's one thing I know about Crane, it's they get Brash Samurais on turn one and they stick around for the whole game. That palace would have been nice if the Stroke of Despair was not broken.
Yep.
Oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, provinces in this case. But anyway.
Yeah, or the cardboard flips. That's the way the cardboard
Mm.
flips.
So yeah, and I'm mine sitting there. It's like, yep, we're gonna have Casada again.
Even more Casada.
I mean, maybe these one bids are designed to try and draw his honor right down. His hands he had 12 cards in his hand, and they didn't seem to do very much.
Yeah,
So,
I don't. There's 20 cards still left in the Crane deck. Why are we bidding one? Um,
well, again, to put honor on pressure onto the Scorpion, because if you can't, if you can
oh,
go up,
waiting
sorry,
hostilities. This is awesome. I love this game all of a sudden.
I mean,
I,
for all the weird deck choices, I love waning hostilities. Um,
well, I mean, no, I still don't like waiting hostilities. I
oh,
mean,
no. The other value part of it is if you're like the crab player versus the crane player, it halves the value of the personalities on the board. They get one attack, maybe one defense, and then they lose fate.
hmm,
And the fact that he's also got the last card he played, Mono Nanowari.
mm-hmm, yep.
So that's between those two cards, he's robbed two fate off all of the crane bodies, and he's still got Casada, he's still got Butcher of the Fallen, he's got the Vanguard Warrior just sitting there. So looks like both of those two are going to be hanging around next turn.
So I think the crab defense here. So the Doji Challenger, I think, is specifically trying to bow the Butcher of the Fallen. The problem is
Yes.
that the Butcher of the Fallen can have a fate put on it with the Vanguard Warrior, right?
Oh well, the challenger can just drag in the fallen butcher of the fallen.
Yeah, sorry, my mistake. What I was also thinking was that the watering
Mm.
could bow something, right? But it can't bow something with fate, right? So
I think that that's actually just to play so that it's not available to Crab. Like he's not. Oh, what just
so
happened?
somebody went home. Somebody got killed.
Ah, no, he used hack. Yeah, the
Oh, the
Crab's
card.
personality sends someone home who has bigger military skill.
Aha.
Uh,
Okay.
which, if you're going to do that, it's odd that you chuck in the Vanguard Warrior.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't dislike it. I think it's probably okay.
Oh, here's an interesting choice. Okay. Ah, yeah. Why not? There's only one more conflict. Send them both. Kaizen can probably at least defend. Oh, so can the challenger.
So we should see. Well,
Is it equal or
no,
less?
hang on. Yeah, okay. So you probably do want this to break because your opponent's got 14 cards in their hand. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can't defend anyway because of Butcher of the Fallen. But you definitely want this to break.
There's the reprieve.
All right. Perfect cut, assassination, backhanded, two backhanded, common cause, court games, two fruitful respites. Could have been something useful.
Yeah. I
Spreading,
mean,
not
the
so.
backhanded's not so useful.
So Crab is now on the box. Crane could have been on the box this turn, but Crab's on the box.
Hmm.
A pirate monkey has joined the game. That was unexpected. Oh, okay. So away the crab comes down. Hang on, no, that was discarded from the upholding. Never mind.
Hmm.
Are you really worried about way the crab? Maybe.
Spreading the darkness seems not good. I mean, you're not really worried about formal, sorry, assassinate
Yeah, or backhanded.
or backhanded, one way or the other. Uh,
Cards are going to get drawn next turn. How many way the crabs are there in the crab deck? My money's on not
I guess.
many.
I mean,
One. There's only one, so it's no longer a thing you have to think about.
I guess.
Okay, so Crab has initiative now as first player. Not a whole lot to buy, which is nice.
He does have the ability to concede the game, though. He could assassinate and then backhand himself.
He could backhand himself. So, let me think. So, what's Crane? Crane buys a duelist, which I probably need to read.
Well, I don't know. His first player, he's on box. There's the Butcher of the Fallen. I don't see how.
This could be, yeah, this could be a problem, right? So, what has Crane got
Well,
on the box that can help him? Smuggler's Cove. Smuggler's Cove could be very helpful.
Smuggler's Cove could get someone there, but I mean, you've got 16 military force just between the Butcher and Casada.
Mm. It would have been nice
Um,
to have had a Kaizen on the table, wouldn't it?
and Yakumo's not going to bow, so even if this is a fail, yeah, Kaiser would have been amazing.
Yeah, and military pump wise, so if this is a military attack from the crab player, it's going to be absurdly strong, right? We just saw their hand. The bids were, where's the bids? Five versus three. Much more reasonable bids. Much more reasonable. So there's some perfect cuts, spreading the darknesses. There's stoic gunthos.
He's realised that the honor game's not, but now unfortunately it puts assassinate back on the table as and spreading the darkness, which could just again also end the game.
I don't think those cards were ever going to shift the board position enough. That Butcher the Fallen is really what needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, and he doesn't have another opportunity to do that.
Well, he's got if it's Smuggler's Cove on the box, he's
Yeah,
got a
he can
favourable ground as well.
he can get the Doji Challenger in there with all of her 5/4s.
Yep,
I mean,
he's
first of
going
all,
to need to.
I mean, get Brush Samurai in there, get Brush Samurai assassinated, then move, then move Doji Challenger in.
Well, none of them can defend right now, so we're going to need to see what the sequencing of events is. So Casada is also on, so we need something to cancel Casada. Tea House, I
Uh,
guess.
no, Tea House needs a courtier there.
Does it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a military attack, so let's see what
Deary
we've
me.
got.
I feel I don't want to call it too early, but I feel like it should have been Crane's game, but um, the crab player just capitalized on a few things that I think were suboptimal on the Crane side, and this is where we end up.
I mean, he could Maze of Illusion if he's got it.
Okay, so he uses Smuggler's Cove first. I wonder if he knew that that was something that was going to get cancelled.
Probably. I mean, yeah, and then the assassinate goes to get rid of the Brash Samurai. I don't know whether that was necessary.
Well, you got to keep going, right? You got to keep. It's not over till it's over.
He's got 5 cards in hand.
Zarin
He's
really just has to put all of the pressure onto the Crane player. He literally has to do nothing until.
well. I mean, here's the thing. Like he didn't have any other obvious ability to move in, so you know he wants to get bigger,
Mhm.
uh, bully Jewel a win, particularly for maybe I don't know if he's got a duelist training somewhere. He's 7v7 versus Sada, but he could probably bow go straight over top of the uh,
So so
butcher.
we've got a game here, right? So double bonsai onto Doji Challenger brings us up to 12. But that
11.
was it. No more
Nah.
guess. Josip GG's. Zarin takes the win. So I don't. Yeah. So I apologize. I don't know what the current standings of either of these countries are. I know Australia picked up 2 wins. Actually, no. So Australia with 2 wins would put them on 1 win overall in this round. So it looks like Australia is going to advance, and Austria will be paired up with no wins in round 3. Well, oh man,
So
you know, one of two things. One of two things is my world right now. Either I I don't really understand how this crab deck is supposed to play, and this is like a super meta, craziness world that we're living in, and I just don't understand it.
well,
Or
the Mono was actually key, I think. Um,
yeah, but I mean, like Crane could have done a lot more with the opportunity they had in that turn that Mono got played.
oh, there was
Like they
some
could have
very strange.
attacked. Yeah, they could have attacked Earth. Remember? Remember we were talking about like
Yeah,
the Earth-water conflict. So they could have attacked Earth, and maybe
and
they would
he
have hit that Mono,
left a
right?
lot of people out of conflicts quite a few times.
Mm. Bidding
They could have
higher, bidding higher, getting more
Yeah,
cards.
I think he was maybe like thinking that he could pressure them down. So as I said, he could like if he's down at 1 or 2 honor, and he doesn't need to give much away to be able to bully Jewel, because the risk is if you just bid high, you lose the game.
Mm.
Um,
Well, in any case, that's it. So either I'm a terrible player, or I just don't
I mean,
understand
he
the world that
won,
we live
so
in anymore, or both. Maybe both. Probably both.
yes, why not both?
All right. Well, thanks very much for coming on the cast with me today, Chris.
It's
I
all
really
good.
appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching. I hope I don't think we're going to do any more games today. It's pretty close to the end of the round. And I think everything has been played in this time zone. And thanks to the organizers for organizing the tournaments, because I feel like I'm just overloaded with L5R, and that's always a good place to be. So thanks, Chris. We'll see everybody on the next one.
Good night.